Hello, fellow travelers. It's your humble handler, Max, with a brief message for all of you tuning in. I just want to take this moment to thank everyone who has listened to us over the last several months and has been enjoying our take on Delta Green. It truly means the world to us, and to me especially, because I didn't know if we'd take off or not, to be honest. But we have, and it's been so much fun getting to do this with everyone on the cast. I love you all. It's truly a joy. Also, we'd love to talk to you if you're listening and haven't joined our Discord yet. Seriously, we have a very active community. We run games on our server, make memes, and generally just have a good time, man. Our Discord is also the place where you get little teases of things to come from us that you won't get just by listening to the show. So go find the link in our show notes and join in. And now, with all that being said, it's time we jump back into 1988 to see how the Kansas team handles Operation Ephemeral Garlic. Starting now.
Good morning. You reached the Library of Congress Research Division. This is Dr. Camp. How can I help you?
Hi, Dr. Camp. I'm looking into a particular yellow bird. Can you help me?
Of course. One moment, please. Go ahead, Mr. Edwards. What do you have for me?
A friendly in the FCC reached out to me. He was contacted about getting some help regarding an incident in Summit Heights, Pennsylvania. Broadcast hijacking, pirate signals. Could be something, could be nothing. Pennsylvania is Mr. Poe's area. You want me to send him?
No, let's assemble the Kansas team on this one. I think one of those boys is from Philly.
With all due respect, sir, should they be activated so soon after the last opera?
No, but there isn't much choice. Poe's going to be needed for other things, possible cleanup. What more can you tell me?
Friendly said his contact wants to keep this under the radar, because the contact has political aspirations, so I won't need to make this official. Joe, are you sure about the Kansas team? It was a shit show.
Yeah, but it was the right kind of shit show. Combination of bad timing, lack of time, and unknown variables. Those boys did the best they could. That's why I want a bigger team formed, to test their capabilities. Let's make the appropriate arrangements, and let Mr. Poe know to be on standby just in case.
Okay. I'll have the friendly reach out and have him tell his contact that he can expect a team of private investigators to arrive in 5 days. I'll call Mr. Poe after this.
Perfect. Thank you, George, and good luck.
It is October 8th, 1988. Eddie Vittorio is alone in his apartment. He's sitting on the couch watching television to pass the time because Deanna still hasn't returned. We'll say it's 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and you're flipping between channels and the news comes on. It's like mid-reporting, but you stop flipping because it mentions that there's another homeless person who had been murdered within the last 2 days. You stop and you stare at the screen as the details of this murder are being relayed, and then there's a knock on your door.
Eddie's going to get up from his couch and head over to the door.
Yeah, and there's a peephole in the door. Do you look through the peephole or do you just open the door?
Yeah, I'm going to check who it is.
Looks like somebody who would be a delivery person. And you can see that they're holding some sort of manila envelope. And they're wearing a ball cap. They're not like right up close to the door. You can tell just from looking through that they aren't visibly armed in any way. But they are just delivering an envelope, it looks like.
Okay. This is probably part of the training. So, open the door.
And the individual is a man in his, you think maybe his mid-30s. You can't really tell what kind of hair he has. He might be bald. He looks up at you and says, is this for this is the residence of Mr. Vittorio? Eddie Vittorio?
Yeah.
This is for you.
Thank you. And I take it from him.
And he walks back down the hallway, disappears from view, and you shut the door. There's no return address. There's really nothing on the envelope, but it is obviously closed up and sealed shut.
He's gonna head over to his table in the kitchen and just sit down with it for a bit, stares at it, hesitating to open it, takes a deep breath. He's gonna break the seal on it.
You open the envelope, and you display the contents across the table before you. There's paperwork here that has your military ID picture part of it. And these are papers showing that you are a private investigator with the name of Peter Brown for the Mozart Private Investigative Agency based out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And there is an additional handwritten note or letter, but it's like on a piece of loose leaf paper, but it doesn't take up the full thing. And it says October 10th, 9 a.m., WSHP TV Channel 17 Studio, Summit Heights, Pennsylvania. Expect previous personnel. Contact your meeting is unaware of us. When finished, report to 102 Pine Street, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania for debrief. That is what it lays before you, Eddie.
Okay. It doesn't say who the contact is, right?
No.
Oh, shit. And expect previous personnel.
You could surmise that to mean the people you worked with previously.
Fuck, again?
I mean, it only has been like, what, 2 months?
This is tomorrow.
No, 2 days from now.
2 days from now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, shit. Alright. And he's gonna shove that paper back in the manila envelope, and he's gonna get up and start packing his things.
Okay. And just to be clear, the papers that are there, from your eye, they look official looking to basically give you the cover of a private investigator, which is a legit profession because sometimes people don't want to go to the cops for certain things that they need looking into. There's also the matter of your work.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to make a phone call. I'm gonna use some of my designated time off.
Okay.
Luckily enough, the last stop was on the weekend, right? So I didn't really need to use anything.
Yeah, but this time you will. We'll say that since it's a Saturday and, hospitals pretty much never really close. They're a 24-hour enterprise. You don't get your normal manager on the phone. You get the weekend manager. But you talk to them, explain the situation. What do you say to them?
My parents out of town. They're sick. I have to go meet them.
Fair enough. Okay. So they accept that. You also notice that you didn't receive any means of getting to Pennsylvania. That's sort of left up to you in your hands. You weren't given any tickets, either on a plane or on a bus. Nothing. So what do you want to do in that regard?
Well, I don't have a car.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if Eddie has the credit necessary to rent one.
I mean, you could always make a roll.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's roll and see if I have enough money.
Yeah, I believe that's n times 5 in your case. Or accounting.
Hey, so we pass on the int.
Yeah. You remember, you got a little bit of spending money from Kansas. $3,000 worth that you hid in the back of your closet.
Ah, yeah, I stole that from those dead people.
Yep.
Well, I guess I'll be putting it to good use right now. I was hoping to use it to take a short vacation.
You are. You're taking a short
guess
vacation
it'll
to
work.
Pennsylvania. How are you going to get to Pennsylvania?
We are renting a car.
Okay. So we'll say that the next day, you make the appropriate arrangements to get yourself a car. fill out the necessary forms, and pack up the necessary gear. You pack your pistol, you pack the private investigator documents, and if you don't already have a map, but...
You buy one at the Enterprise.
Yeah. Or actually, better yet, you pick one up on your way down the interstate, on your way to Pennsylvania at a rest area. So you drive a couple hours overnight because you need to be there by 9 a.m. Unless you wanted to stay somewhere overnight and then drive the rest of the way. Choice is yours.
No, I'll drive the whole night to Pennsylvania. It's only like 5 hours, isn't it?
Yeah, but still, it depends on how you want to get there, when you want to get there.
Yeah, I'm just going to stick around in the city there a couple days before we start the mission.
So in Summit Heights?
Yeah.
Okay. There's actually a bed and breakfast in town, so...
Yeah, why not?
We'll say that you get a room there, and now we're going to travel backwards in time a little bit to Vince, also on October 8th. What would you be doing on a Saturday?
At this point, what time is it?
Whatever you want it to be, man.
Depends on that. Let's say it's the late evening. Well, midday or some shit like that, I don't know. 5 p.m.
Okay.
He's currently sitting in the only other room in his apartment, in his condo, which is like, you get in, there's the open space with the kitchen and the sleeping sofa, and the open living room, which is basically also his bedroom, because the only other room in this apartment he has dedicated to his gunsmithing hobby, and he is currently probably doing something like making ammunition.
Are you drinking while you are doing this?
Oh, there's an open beer, yeah. But it's not like heavy drinking. He just has one. Doesn't even really notice.
So while you're doing this, you hear a knock at your apartment door.
Yeah. Vince gets up, strolls over.
And when you stroll over, you see on the floor an envelope that had been slid under the doorway. A manila envelope.
Oh.
I mean, if you want to open the door and check to see who dropped it off, you can totally do that.
I mean, if the envelope's already... I don't think he needs to check.
Okay.
They're probably gone anyways. Yeah, he just picks up the envelope and checks what's inside.
Yeah, so similar to what Eddie had, you have private investigator paperwork that looks pretty official from what you see. Your ATF picture is on it, and the name that you were given is James Osmond, and it's the same spiel. You're a private investigator for the Mozart Private Investigative Agency based out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. You're to meet October 10th, 9 a.m. at the WSHP TV Channel 17 studio in Summit Heights, Pennsylvania. Expect previous personnel, and the contact you're meeting is unaware of us. And when finished, report to 102 Pine Street, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania to debrief.
Okay, still the same line, like with Eddie, right? Private investigator for Mozart Private Investigative Agency.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, he's not too happy about operating out of his own backyard. However, it is what it is.
Yeah, give me an N times 5 roll.
I believe that is a failure with an 82 over 70.
Yeah, you have no idea off the top of your head where Summit Heights, Pennsylvania could be.
Oh, alright.
But you do have maps.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Seeing that he actually lives in Pennsylvania, he'll pull out a map and check.
Yeah, it takes you a few minutes, but you eventually find that Summit Heights, Pennsylvania is in central Pennsylvania, northeast of Bedford.
I think Bedford's probably like 2.5 hour drive from Philadelphia without like...
By your estimations, looking at this map, Vince, you are correct. It looks to be about a 2 to 3 hour drive. And you have 2 days
okay, that's
to
wonderful.
prepare. Which means, if you want to, you can acquire, potentially, extra weaponry that is not standard issue. Potentially.
You know, that would be fun, like, signing out weapons from the evidence locker and shit like that. However, Vince has a bureaucracy of base 10, so...
Yeah.
His stealth, however, is a bit better.
Yeah, but what happens if you get caught, though?
Yeah, that's gonna be a big problem.
Roll me your bureaucracy at a plus 20.
Okay, sure. Yep, that's still a failure. 56 over 30.
Yeah, go ahead and mark that. There is... Let's just say that you go on Sunday to try and sign out, I don't know, like a carbine, for example. But you get there and you realize that the evidence collection tech is dealing with a fuck up from another one of your brethren. Not your partner that works with you, but somebody else. And you realize that trying to navigate that when he's trying to fix another fuck up, probably not the best idea. Mm-hmm. So, unfortunately, that avenue is closed to you at this present time.
All right. I mean, that's somewhat all right. He would own a shotgun.
Okay.
That thing's highly illegal because he filed the serial numbers off. So I think that's wandering into his go bag, especially since he thinks back on the last operation where he felt like the shotgun was really useful. So he doesn't want to miss it this time.
That's understandable.
Yeah, that goes into his go bag. He prepares over the weekend, makes a little bit of ammunition.
Yeah, the thing of it is, when you do that and you go to load the duffel bag that you have, which is the same one you took to Kansas with you, and inside of there is a tape that you look at, and you forgot that you had put in there, but it's the tape from the gas station that Bart had. You never really got rid of it.
Oh,
and
that's right.
And you see it. And when you go to put the shotgun in,
I think when he actually went to collect this bag to put the shotgun in, the bag had still been laying in the same spot he threw it in after coming home 2 months ago. And first of all, he had to search around for a bit. Like, he's not too organized.
Yeah, it's kind of a mess in here.
It's not messy, or not like hoarder behavior, but.
It's not normally
a 2-room apartment, and one of the rooms is like a fucking workshop.
It's not as tidy as you would normally like to keep it. You're a little bit more disorganized than normal.
So he picks it up and just staring at the tape before probably putting it away, like taking it out of the bag, still thinking like what to actually do with it. But then he just stashes it away, and he just opens the cupboard, puts it on the max, and closes it.
Okay.
He thinks to himself, that will be a surprise when I want to make myself a coffee next time. And then he remembers he never drinks coffee because his coffee machine broke half a year ago and he has never replaced it since then.
Yeah, you've been meaning to do that for a little bit now. But it's just one of those things that you just keep pushing off for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's a little task. It could be done in so little time, but it does.
It's one of those things that, you're right, you think it would be easy to do. It's just, you find it so hard within yourself to do that, such a small menial task. And on some level, you know you need to do it, but you just can't bring yourself to do it. It's just too hard, mentally.
Yep, and today is also not the day for that, so he prepares the shotgun, he prepares bullets over the weekend. He knows his boss is not there, so he doesn't even try calling him. He'll do that from his car phone on Monday. When he drives to Summit Heights.
Okay. And we will say that early Monday morning, you get up early and you drive. We're going to say it takes you, I don't know, let's say you leave at 6 a.m. from Philadelphia.
Yeah,
the streets are still quiet. People haven't risen up yet to clog the streets with their vehicles. So you're able to make your way out of Philadelphia out west. And you are all set to arrive. You arrive in Summit Heights around 8:30 a.m. So, Jan, it is October 8th. It's Saturday. What would Scott Macallan be doing?
So, yeah, on Saturday, library is actually still open on Saturday, albeit on shortened hours, so he's probably there.
Okay.
Just doing his thing. Not a whole lot going on, so even though it is starting to cool down, the snow hasn't really started falling yet. So you're not getting all the tourists, or I should say tourists, coming in from out of town to enjoy the snowy slopes of Red River.
All right. It's not busy at all, considering it's a weekend and you're in a resort destination town. Not many people checking out books. I mean, you get the occasional person. We'll say, actually, that you just have a normal work day, a shortened work day, and you finish up and you head back to Roger's home, and there is...
Oh, I'm not going back to Roger's place. I'm going back to Elena's place.
Oh, okay. Ooh. Yeah. So, yeah, you pull up to Elena's house, and as you're walking up the front porch, there's a manila envelope laying out front on her porch.
I'll kind of look at her and say...
Well, you haven't gone inside yet.
Expecting... Right. Well, what I was saying is you probably head back together, from the library. And so as I'm sitting there, you were standing there looking at her. Were you expecting mail today?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, no.
Is it marked?
I don't know. Let me take a look, and I'll just walk ahead of her, go and pick it up.
Yeah, it's not marked, but you have a suspicion that it may be for you. You just have that feeling. It's a little disconcerting that the group knows where you're staying when you're not with Roger.
Yeah, and I'll open it up, and as I'm looking at it, I'm going to frown. First of all, one, I am genuinely upset and kind of pissed off at this, but two, kind of give this exaggerated frown, be like, oh, fuck me. It's nothing. It's just some sick bastard's idea of a joke.
Yeah, and the sick bastard's idea of a joke is a bunch of instructions and paperwork, and the picture on it is from your UC Berkeley days, actually. Your old ID from back in that period of time.
Oh, incredible. I probably didn't have a mustache back then.
This is an old picture. This is an old picture of you. But it states that your name is John Richmond, a private investigator for the Mozart Private Investigative Agency based out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And just like the others, October 10th, 9 a.m., WSHP TV Channel 17 Studio, Summit Heights, Pennsylvania. Expect previous personnel. Contact your meeting is not with us. When finished, report to 102 Pine Street, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania for debrief. The difference is that for you, there are plane tickets out of Albuquerque International to Harrisburg International Airport.
Ooh, I'm a special boy. Problem, I wasn't expecting that. So what I'm going to have to do now is I'm going to need to do a little bit of sleight of hand to try to get those tickets into my pocket.
Yeah, do you have anything in stealth?
I have base 10%.
Add 20 to that and give me a roll.
Oh boy. Success. 12 under 30.
Woo, holy shit. Damn. Okay, yeah.
Smooth criminal.
Yeah, you... As Elena hears you say, oh, what the... this is some sick bastard's idea of a joke, whatever it was. And, you turn around, but in doing so, you kind of, bring your one arm up to her. Like you're gonna, put your arm around her shoulder, but then your other hand is doing some other shit where you just slide the tickets into your back pocket. You also, in that moment, you had folded up the papers and slid them into your back pocket as well, with the manila envelope, in your hand, and that's the arm that's around her shoulder. Are you sure? Should I be worried?
Maybe. I don't know. I want to ask your neighbors if they gotten anything like this too, but just a bunch of photos of a dude talking balls and asshole. Yeah.
It's not yours, is it? I'm just kidding. She says, and just slaps you on the chest. All right, well, throw it away or do something with it. I don't want my dad to see that.
Yeah, no, it's going straight in the trash.
Yeah, and you two walk inside and the door closes. But what do you do after that night? So let's say it's Sunday now.
So we're probably... That night was explained to her. So, gonna be heading out of town for a few days again. Not too long this time, thankfully, but going back actually to back to Occam, back to
really?
Miskatonic.
How come?
Well, remember when I was saying about that possible end, back in
Right.
academia?
Okay, so that's gonna pan out.
Maybe this is gonna be something of an interview, I guess, but it sounds like they might be needing another archivist for the Miskatonic Library.
Oh, that's great. Well, I'm not gonna stop you. I don't want to stop you. That's so great. I mean, look, at some point, if you do get this job, we have to talk, about.
I know, and that's when I get back, I do want to talk to you about that because. Elena.
Yeah?
I'll just say it plain. I like what we have.
I like what we have too, Scott.
And, well...
I really like what we have.
I don't know. Just kind of nodding.
Well, at least...
I certainly don't want to give...
Make sure you call me. At least, do you know how long you're going to be gone?
Probably at a minimum 72 hours. Factoring in flights, layover.
Okay. Well, when you get there, call me, okay?
Will do.
At some point, you leave. you head back to your room in Roger's house in the basement. You get your Polaroid camera, your notebook. Oh, that's right. We talked about something, you and I, to get yourself a better gun.
Yep. Thinking about back to Kansas and just what it took to bring down that bastard Vixen. 38 caliber, that's more than enough to take down pretty much any man standing, but it felt like maybe an upgrade was needed. So did a little bit of shopping and picked up instead a snub-nosed 357 Magnum.
Indeed.
Now, downside is it carries one less round in the chamber. Or I should say one less round in the cylinder.
Yeah, but it hits harder.
5 shots, 357, that's
That's a D10, right? Or D12?
No, that's a D12.
That's a D12, yes, that's right. Okay. You had picked that up. Elena was also thankful that you picked that up, even though you don't carry it around with you all the time. But she knows that you're protecting yourself, and sometimes that's needed against anything. You never know what could come up at any time. So and as you're doing this, you see in your closet, or the space that you would have where you would be able to store things at least, you see the memoirs of Horseback Jack staring back at you in the face. A memento, shall we say, from Kansas. Just sitting there, slightly hidden from normal view, but it's staring back at you.
Yeah, smirk a bit. Looks like you didn't have such a good ride after all, Horseback Jack.
The book doesn't say anything, obviously, but the memories of Kansas briefly flood back into your mind. And, you tuck it back away in its hiding spot. You're not quite ready to get rid of it just yet, especially considering what is included inside of it. And it's weird, it's tangible, but the implications are terrifying of the knowledge within it. But yet you can't force yourself to get rid of it. Was there anything else you wanted to do before you headed to Albuquerque International?
Not that I can think of. Just, I'll probably actually walk over to where I have it stashed and kind of hide it a little bit better.
Okay.
But the thing that bothers Scott the most about that book, even more than the contents inside of it, is he keeps telling himself he's gonna burn it or bury it, do something with it to get it out, but he knows he's lying to himself when he says that. He doesn't want to throw it away. In fact, he's if anything, he wishes it was a little bit more comprehensive than what it was.
The other scary part too is that as you wrestle with these thoughts, you also realize with startling stark clarity that you remember exactly how to do the things that are mentioned inside of that book without having to read it. I mean, it's crazy shit, like talking about changing forms and raising up dead bodies. It's crazy. But yet, it's laid out in detail, and you know what you encountered. So, you know there's merit to it, and it's terrifying to you that you know this knowledge. So we're going to say that the flight that you are on, it's a connecting red-eye flight because it's flying from Albuquerque to Harrisburg to Iceland. So Harrisburg is just a stopover in order to make a 12 p.m., at least local Icelandic time. But the stopover in Harrisburg is you'll have enough time to get to your destination.
Right.
And you set out later that night on the 9th, after having talked to Roger, saying you were going to need some time off and you're flying to Arkham. And you drive the 3 hours to Albuquerque International and make your way to Harrisburg International to meet up in Summit Heights, Pennsylvania. It is also October 8th for Dr. Rufus Kimble. It's 3 a.m. and you are underneath the hospital.
Yeah, it's 3 a.m. He's walking down a concrete tunnel. It is lined. It is pretty thin. I mean, for him, I think people of average size 3 could fit. But he takes up most of the space in the tunnel. Above him is the occasional fluorescent light, and he just walks and hears his footsteps echoing around him. It takes a couple minutes, and he finally gets to a door, swipes a key card, and enters.
You enter a chamber
Yeah, a large chamber that is linoleum lined. It looks like, if any of you have ever worked in hospitals, it looks like a dementia unit. Everything is locked down. There's not really any furniture. It is like no windows. It is very bare bones. Everything is very precisely laid out. And he goes up to a desk, pulls up a couple files, flips through them, and then heads off to an observation room.
In this observation room, would you say that she's laying on a table, or she's in a cell, or what does that look like?
So she's in her own little hospital room. She's definitely laying down. I mean, it's quite early, and he's behind kind of this double paned barrier, kind of looking in at her as she's resting.
You're looking at her head and seeing the faint traces of scars along the cranial region from the last time that a lobotomy had been done on her. And I mean, this is the Sanderson girl that the Outlook group had wanted you to keep tabs on and try and understand what was going on with her.
Right. He's been... this is one of the first cases where he has had to re-perform lobotomies. I think she's on maybe her third at this point. Every time he finishes one, she enters that kind of state of, where he can tell there's been a separation between, a muddling of the brain, so to speak. But then within 72 hours or so, she seems to reform those connections in a very odd way. She's been speaking ancient languages, saying secrets about himself, about his staff, things he didn't even know about. It's been deeply disconcerting, and Outlook has just been telling him, keep adjusting this medication that they're sending, keep performing lobotomies as needed, and keep tabs. So he just has lowered the dose of one of her
and to be fair,
trying to see if maybe
you didn't understand what this language was at first, and you still don't have it fully committed to memory because of its strange nature. You do know that a rough translation guide was given to you by the Outlook group, who also gave you explicit instructions to never really fully learn it. They told you to take active measures to not learn this language that this woman has been able to speak. So nearby, standing by the observation room, you're just standing there, looking at her. Out of the corner of your eye, one of the computer bank monitors off to your left flickers a little bit, and you see your front porch of your house, and you see an individual in a jacket and wearing a ball cap drops a envelope off on your front porch. Which is strange because it is so late at night, but you think it could only be one particular group of interest.
Yeah. He grimaces at the monitor, turns back to his notes. He writes down a little bit of information, like her vital signs, and he will wrap up down here. He just has to, he always double checks the locks, and will go back through this tunnel another couple minutes, and he emerges out of a door, kind of a hatch in his shed out in the back, closes that, locks it up, heads out and grabs the package.
Yeah, so Rufus, do you go through the house or do you just walk around the front?
He will go through the house. He will enter through the back, go through to the front, open the door, nab the package, and just head back in. It's
a manila envelope. There's paperwork. The picture is of your old CIA picture from back in those days. It states that your name is David Greenbelt. Mm-hmm. You are a private investigator for the Mozart Private Investigative Agency based out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, with a handwritten note saying October 10th, 9 a.m., WSHP TV Channel 17 Studio, Summit Heights, Pennsylvania. Expect previous personnel. Contact your meeting is not with us. When finished, report to 102 Pine Street, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania for debrief.
He takes stock of that and then will burn the contents of the envelope.
Okay. It's still Saturday morning. So, I mean, we can say that you go about whatever routine you go through on the weekend.
Yeah.
You check in on Vivica.
He kind of goes through his weekends. He tends to be very busy around the house, and part of that work is he goes back through the shed down to this lower level of the hospital and does quite a lot of research work there. He will reach out to Outlook, just let them know that they need to send somebody for a couple days to handle the case downstairs. They know how to enter, they have keys, so he just will pack his... How big are the vials, Max?
Well, you only got one vial.
One vial. Okay, so he will pack the vial.
I didn't really... So to be clear, I didn't really say how much was in this vial. All you know is, at the time, I hadn't really determined a size, but... you feel like that the vial that you got from Dr. Perov is good for probably maybe a month, maybe a few months. It's hard to really say, considering that the dosage that you would need to take is 5 milliliters.
So it's maybe about 100 milliliters. He will pack that. He will also pack pretty much the same shit he packed last time. He's got a steady go bag at this point, even though he was really hoping he wouldn't be called on another one of these. And he will choose to drive. How long would this take?
I think from Maryland to Pennsylvania, I think that's about a 5-hour drive.
So he will leave on the...
You know that you would need to at least get a map, because, how often does Dr. Kimble go to Pennsylvania?
Not very often.
Exactly. So you'll get a map on your way up there, a map of Pennsylvania, and have a better idea of where you're going. I mean... At the Maryland-Pennsylvania border, there is there's a rest stop, maps for both Maryland and Pennsylvania, and you have a better idea of where you're going. You're going to central Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he heads out midway through the day of the 9th, so on Sunday.
Okay.
Just to give himself enough time to get lost if that happens.
Yeah, give me
give you a navigate.
Give me a luck roll.
Oh fuck. Okay. That's a 37 under 50.
Yeah, no, you give yourself plenty of time. You don't get lost. So you get there early enough to basically be able to stay overnight at a bed and breakfast, and you run into Eddie the night before on the 9th. Eddie is... You've been hanging out at this bed and breakfast in Summit Heights for a little bit, and you're about to head upstairs to the second story of this establishment, and as you're rounding to go up, the front door opens, and a very large, very tall Dr. Rufus Kimble, because there's no way it could be anybody else but him, comes walking through the door. And this is on, to reiterate, October 9th in the evening, by the way.
Oh.
And you two just stop and stare at each other.
Hey, Stretch.
Hello. What are you in town for?
What are you in town for? Probably the same thing. I'm staying here.
Probably. Have you seen anybody else?
I don't think anyone else is here.
Okay. Well, hopefully no cowboy hats this time, right?
I'm gonna go upstairs.
Okay.
So, we're gonna say that you all arrive at WSHP 17 around 8:45. Dr. Kimble and Eddie, you both kind of go together. You might as well, since you both are staying at the same place.
Rufus just sort of gestures at his car. He's like, do you want a lift?
I rented my own.
Kimble just nods, says, alright, well, I will see you there, I think. Get in his car and leave.
Yeah, you crumple yourself up into your Beetle.
Yeah.
And head towards the station. So while Dr. Kimble and Eddie are traveling to the TV station, already at the station, waiting, Vincent Scott, you basically had arrived close to the same time.
Because I think the scenery is the TV station building, and in front of it there are 4 parking spots, and Vince took the one to the right, you took the one to the left, the 2 in the middle are empty. We are both just leaning on the side of our car, staring at each other, smoking, and Vince just goes, So, you here too, huh?
Yep. How you been, You know, I don't never like that name Pretty Boy for you.
No, didn't like that either, glasses.
I mean, after all, you know, these days I go by a different name, after my father, John Richmond.
I should probably, introduce myself. Actually, James Osmond.
Well, pleasure to meet you.
Likewise, whatever. And he just gets another cigarette out and chip, lights it and just awkwardly looks at the ground. So where's the other two?
I do want to point out, as you both are standing there smoking your respective cigarettes, the sky is overcast, gray. It looks like it could rain, but it hasn't yet reached this area yet. Vince, you know, being a Pennsylvania native and kind of knowing how this part of the state is, rain is imminent. You don't know how hard it's going to be, but it looks pretty gloomy out right now, all things considered. And at this particular moment, you two see two other cars pull up. You see a lavender-colored Beetle, and you see I don't know, we're just going to say an old Mercedes-Benz, like a cream-colored Mercedes-Benz from the rental agency, an older one, pull up, and out steps the very tall form of Dr. Rufus Kimble and the bulky, muscular form of Eddie Vittorio. And the four of you are once again reunited.
Before they step out of their car and we just see them arrive, I mean, we probably see the hunched down form, the compressed form of Dr. Rufus Kimble, .zip, as he drives up, and Vince basically just goes, "He drives? Isn't he narcoleptic or... like... what?"
That seems deeply irresponsible.
I mean, that's... no clue how long he drove in, first of all, that thing, and then second of all, to get here. Like, I didn't hear about 5 crashes on the freeway.
Do you guys acknowledge each other at all four of you?
Kimble will, let's just say that he's parked next to Scott. He will unfold himself from the car and reach out his hand and say, David Greenbelt?
John Richmond.
I'm a PI for the Mozart Private Investigation
Really,
Agency.
likewise. Can't say I ever worked with you on a case before, but, you know, that's not unusual.
Well, what a coincidence. If this isn't my good buddy... and I extend my hand to Eddie.
Eddie looks at you, and your handshake. He goes into a long pause, reaches into his pocket for a piece of paper, unfolds it, reads it again, folds it up, puts it back in his pocket, goes to shake your hand. Peter Brown.
It's at this particular moment that the doors open behind you, and you hear, "All right, come on. All four of you, come on. Let's go. Larry wants to see you.
Yeah, okay.
Come on."
Fucking pushy.
And
okay.
this person disappears back into the building. It's a gentleman in, you think, his late 30s, early 40s.
Well, someone's in a hurry.
I'll look to Vince and say, you know, as the one with actual law enforcement background here, maybe you ought to take the lead on this one.
Sure, I guess. Well then, follow me, gentlemen.
Over here.
Yeah, I think we follow.
So, that individual who had so brusquely came out and attempted to gather you all up is inside the entryway and is like, come on. I don't want to keep him waiting. And he leads you upstairs. There's no elevator that you can see. Just leads you up some stairs to the 3rd floor of the WSHP TV Channel 17 station. And you're led into a conference room. And at the other end is a man who, he looks to be middle-aged, neatly trimmed graying hair. He's wearing a crisp suit, and he is smoking a cigarette, and he's looking at all of you.
He looks at all 4 of us, and like 3 out of the 4 people standing in a row, people just like, whoop, get out their own cigarettes.
Do you do that?
Oh, absolutely. He's smoking. I'm smoking.
Scott?
Why not?
Eddie?
Yeah.
Are you willing to follow? All right. And this man
And Rufus just fucking stands there.
So he's sitting behind a desk, and you can see that there's also a technician that is looking to attach what looks to be a VCR to a portable TV set. The man sitting behind the desk you can tell he's clearly unhappy. Are you from the Mozart Investigative Agency?
Oh, absolutely. James Osmond here. These are my colleagues, Peter Brown, John Richmond, and David Greenbelt.
And he stands up, stubs the cigarette out in a ashtray, comes over and shakes all four of your hands and stops at you, Dr. Kimble. You're a tall one. Huh. And moves on to the three of you. And the guy at the back, this technician, says, Larry, we're ready. And he says, yep, got it. Yes, I'm Larry Rosenbaum. I am the president of the WSHP TV Channel 17 TV station. Thank you so much for meeting with me today. I know it's asking a lot, but I'll cut straight to the chase. There is a menace in our community, and I want them found, their activities stopped, and I want them brought to justice. So he walks over to the other end of the conference table where the portable TV is, and he gestures for you all to take a seat if you want to.
Right. Yeah.
He'll say, on September 18th, around 10:15 in the morning, some wacko hijacked our signal and broadcast some weird stuff for a minute while a whole bunch of kids were watching cartoons. We don't typically record our own outgoing broadcast, but our head engineer, Frank Mars, he was the one who saw it and told us about it. And as well as about 24 complaints from angry parents, sure as heck confirming that some wacko had hijacked our signal. Now, from what my guys told me, there was no way to track where the intrusion came from, and honestly, we thought maybe it was a fluke. We issued an apology and didn't really think too much about it. Then a few weeks later, we got another one. This time, just after midnight during a late-night horror movie special on October 1st. Really weird stuff. And I had Frank dig into this, right? Trying to figure out how this was happening, but he couldn't figure anything out. And yet, last Wednesday, during the 5 o'clock news, we got another one, right? People were watching with their families, and it was weird, but we got that one on tape, though. And it's clear that whatever this crap is, we are being deliberately targeted. And he's just like waving his finger around for emphasis. And I don't know if this is going to stop, but it must stop. Folks are getting freaked out. Who knows what kind of junk these nut jobs are going to show next. So that's why you're all here today. I reached out to somebody at the FCC. He said he knew somebody, and that's how you all ended up here. Now, I need you all to find out how these pirates are doing this, who they are, where they are, and then we can call in the boys in blue to shut them down. And he turns and says, hey, Joe, you ready, right? Yeah. All right, show him the tape. So, the video ends. The video ends, and Larry turns and says to you all, pretty weird shit, right?
So you think some pirate broadcasted this?
Yeah.
Maybe some kids that are good with a VCR.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Figure it out, and if you got any good leads, talk to the local police. Let them know they can track down these sickos and and put them away.
Well,
Seriously.
first of all,
You're freaking people out.
since we probably do not have the technical knowledge that you have, how would one go and broadcast something over your station? Do they just get into your waves or something? And like Vince has no idea what he's talking about. That's why he's asking.
I think they'd have to copy the broadcast frequency.
I'm looking
Yes,
at Larry too.
says
Okay.
the technician says. That's possible, but we would have to see where they would be transmitting from. Now, the problem is that we haven't heard from Frank in some time, which is concerning. So you could start with his place, maybe. I don't know. It's not like him to not turn up to work, is what Larry says.
What's his full name and address?
Frank Mars is his name. I don't know his address off the top of my head. I'll have to get my secretary to track that down for you.
Hasn't been answering his phone.
No,
What time did the broadcast go out?
it was before the 5 o'clock news. He says.
The most recent was before the 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay. Because there was one on the September
That was
18th.
the first one.
Another one a few weeks later, and then the most recent one was...
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get the first two, the one on the 18th and the one on the 1st, but, I don't know.
Were they the same? Do you have anybody that saw them
I don't know.
that we could talk
If
to?
anybody saw anything, they aren't saying anything to us or the police. Police don't really know what to do, which is why I decided to call in outside help.
Okay, so what about Frank? When was the last time you contacted him, or when he showed up at work?
Last time, what was it, Joe? What was the last time you saw him? And the technician Joe says, yeah, he came. Last time I saw him was on the 4th, for his morning shift.
Has Frank been acting have character recently? Agitated, potentially, has he been drinking, drug use?
No, none of that. Not that I'm aware of, at least. It's very unlike him to not show up to work, though. He's our senior guy.
I mean, he's been gone for like 6 days. Has the police been alerted to this already?
Yeah, but they didn't find anything unusual in his place.
So they performed the wellness check already,
Yeah, it's really weird.
and he's not there.
No.
Does Frank have any next of kin living in town anywhere, or are they all exterior?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Look, we just worked together, right? Nice guy, but I didn't really get to know his personal life all that well.
Is there anyone here that he talked to often?
He just talked with us. He shrugs.
No one close, then.
Not that I know of. No.
Okay, so those and he snaps his fingers. Those parents that complained for the first broadcast, did they complain in letter or anything?
No,
that
they called. They just called, and just
All right, so
and complained.
What, 20 people called? Nobody wrote a letter?
They all live here in town. Why would they write a letter when they can just call?
Do you have a record of those phone numbers?
Yeah, we could probably scare some of them up. Might take some time.
Question to Max.
Yes, Mike.
As far as that video goes, did any of us get that weird, unnatural vibe, or did it feel more like a prank?
Well, if you watched the end of the video, did you guys actually see something in there?
There was a face.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, could we get a copy of that for research purposes?
Yeah, absolutely. This is Joe, the technician, saying that. Yeah. It might take me a sec, but he goes to eject the video out of the TV and takes the cassette. He looks to Larry. Larry nods his head, and Joe leaves the conference room, disappears out of your guys' sight.
Have you made copies of that tape, or is that the only one? And then the one you're making for us?
That's the only one. We want to keep that internal. Like I said, we don't normally videotape or outgoing broadcast.
That's for the best. Let's keep it that way for now.
Larry looks between you guys. That's really pretty much all I know. But there's a bed and breakfast in town if you want to stay there. That's the best place to stay here for people who are coming through the area or want to go out into the mountains around here. So, but you feel free to ask the other engineers that work for me, see if they know anything. You pretty much have free reign here to see if anything sticks out to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Larry, one more thing.
Sure.
How many people would you guesstimate have seen this broadcast? Not including us.
It's hard to say, really. I mean, it went out on local TV. Who knows who was watching?
Do you not get, like, viewer count?
Normally it takes, like, a day or so to tabulate, but like I said, I mean, you can go through our records.
All right.
Are there woods around here?
You would have seen driving in how the houses are kind of, like, packed tightly together. You know, like a lot of older style homes, red brick homes. Mountains are kind of all around you guys.
Right. Kimble is going to ask Larry to kind of rewind through the tape, and when you get to about
Joe
33
walked away.
seconds in,
Joe walked
this
away
kind of
to make a copy.
fuck me.
He comes back a few minutes later with a second tape in hand, and he hands it to Eddie, since Eddie was the one who had asked about it.
Thank you.
Yeah, would you mind popping your copy back in for a second?
Yeah, sure thing. And he walks over to the TV set, puts it in. What do you want to...
Could you skim forward? There's about 30 seconds in, there's this building that pops up. I wonder if you recognize it at all.
He fast forwards to the point that you're talking about, stops it, and looks at it. Kind of leans in close to the TV. Nothing I can recognize. What about you, Larry? Larry comes over, also doesn't like put his, like, he's not like this close, but you know, like he squints, looks at it. Nope, can't say I've seen this place before either. Like I said, pirates doing all sorts of freaky weird stuff, those nut jobs.
Right, it could very well just be somebody
screwing around.
That is right, somebody that's compiled this video from a different... Sorry, I'm skimming through frame by frame right now.
We wait, come receiver, we watch you, we watch us.
Yeah, that's what you remember being said on the tape.
And that vague silhouette of a woman's face, by the looks of it.
Honestly, it looked like a
face.
mask to me. Nothing in this like screams unnatural to me.
There is a...
Well, this is the 80s, so I know to us this looks like, well, this is like a typical ARG thing, but this kind of shit was not around.
Well...
So this would be deeply disconcerting.
Yeah.
What does it do? Does it blink there? Wait.
If someone
Does the building
was...
blink?
Does it? If it had... I've watched that video numerous times. If the building blinks... I've never noticed it before.
There's like a little
like...
bit that pops up. I don't think it's blinking. I think it just like a light flicked on. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Spooky.
I mean, there is like a seemingly infinite hallway, and then there's a couch that looks like it's made out of
a flesh couch.
Yeah. It's made out of meatloaf.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not sure if anyone on our crew has good technical knowledge for...
You really don't.
No, but you have SIGINT, don't you?
I don't think so.
No.
I thought somebody had SIGINT. Wishful thinking.
So, Larry's going to look at you guys and say, if there's nothing else, I'm going to head back to my office. But like I said, you have free reign of the building. If you need to ask our engineers any questions, feel free. And he's gonna shake all your hands again and he's gonna stop at you, Vince, and says, "Find these nut jobs. Link up with the police. Stop this menace in our community, please."
We will do our best.
Thank you. And he walks out of the conference room.